Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
All right. All right, gang. Thank you for coming this morning. I wanted to help and support you guys with interview skills. And a lot of times when you graduate, you're going to get that first job, and you really don't know what to expect during the interview process, or what to do. Sometimes students, sometimes adults just get so nervous about the interview process that they don't always present their best. So let's talk about that a little bit this morning, and I'm going to hopefully cram a whole bunch into about 10, 15 minutes. And hopefully some of this stuff will help. Are you going to be able to remember all of this? No, probably not. But there will be some things that maybe you pick up on, and if you remember several of them, you'll be better prepared for that first interview. Sound good? Um, do you guys get nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys get nervous? When do you get nervous?
When I step in the hospital.
Yeah. Sometimes when you come to work, you can get nervous because you're not sure what the day's gonna hold, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys think you'll get nervous when you are going for an interview?
Yes.
Yes.
For sure, right? And that's okay. But I'm going to tell you some reasons why you don't need to be nervous and some things that you can do to really present well for that first interview. So one, it's positive self-talk. So when you have an interview the next day, the night before, while you're laying in bed, I want you to say to yourself in your head, I'm going to do awesome at that interview tomorrow. I'm going to knock it out of the park. I'm going to do really well. Some of the things I mentioned today are the things that I do. And some of the things that I mentioned today are some of the things that my teammates do. And it really helps them. So the night before, tell yourself, I'm going to do good tomorrow. I'm going to do really, really good. And then when you wake up in the morning and it's time for the interview, look in the mirror or even think to yourself, I'm going to nail this. I'm going to knock this out of the park. I'm going to do a good job. That's going to help you gain a little bit of confidence. Confidence and being nervous is okay. But if you do some of these things, maybe it'll help. I want you guys to remember that you have experience. So a lot of times when you're going to your first interview, students may forget that I do have experience. Well, the program that you're in right now is setting you up really well for that first job, for that first interview. So some of the things, a lot of times, some of the things you're applying for, you've already done. So remember that. That should give you a little more confidence. I'm applying for something that I've already done. So know that the program you're in now is helping you for your next step. And then here's something I do. It may sound a little goofy, but it has helped me. Put something in your pocket that gives you good thoughts, or put something in your pocket that will remind you of positive things. Like my family and I, we just went and traveled to Madrid, and I may put a keychain in my pocket from that trip because that's a positive memory for me, right? And it also reminds me of my family. So if I'm going to a big interview and I think I may get nervous, I just remind myself, well, my family's with me, right? Or, my friend gave me this bracelet. You might wear a bracelet. Sometimes I wear socks. If I do an interview, sometimes I wear socks from my college because I really enjoyed my friends in college and my time in college. Just have something with you. Again, you don't have to bring it out during the interview process. You don't have to show anybody, but hey, I got this with me. I'm going to do really well. So you have positive thoughts already, and you have something with you that may gain you more confidence. Now what? Well, you got to look the part. What do I mean by that? I've been to a couple graduations, and I've seen students on those graduation days, what they looked like. Every student, every time on graduation, looks stellar, looks sharp, looks good. When you go to an interview, you have to have your shirt tucked in, right? You have to have your hair combed. You have to look the part. You have to look like you should work there, right? So when you guys go for graduation, I always see like khaki pants or a nice outfit. Those are things you want to wear for an interview. It's looking the part. Practice with family members the night before. These are all things we're going to do prior to an interview. practice with a family member, because you guys know what questions are coming your way. And two things I didn't do or couldn't do leading up to prior to speaking to you guys was put a list of questions together that you may be asked, and then also a list of questions that I want you guys to ask at the end. And we'll talk about the end of the interview shortly here. But I'm still going to get you that. But a lot of the opportunities, a lot of the jobs that you're going to be applying for, they're going to ask the same questions. So they're going to ask, about your attendance at school, or they're going to ask, have you had customer service before? The answer to those questions are yes, because of the program you're in. So these are all stuff we're doing prior to the interview, right? All right, I think I covered most of that. Time for the interview. What are we doing again? We're getting up and we're telling ourselves, I'm going to do really good during this interview. You see this? Cell phone, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
This does not go in with you for the interview process. And if you have to have it with you, it needs to be on silent or power off. I had a gentleman interviewing for a position last week. His phone rang 3 times during the interview process. And we don't form an opinion on a candidate based on that, but it's part of it. To me, that kind of tells you what else is so important to this person than the position that they're applying for. So remember, no cell phone, right?
Mhm.
During the interview, be yourself, okay? You want to be hired for who you are, so I'm saying be yourself, but in a professional manner. What do I mean by that? So it's good to show your personality, right? But you're not sitting down with your friends to get the position or job, right? You're sitting down with someone that is going to hire you. So show your personality. Say if you like this movie, or say what you did this weekend. But you can't be too casual. That means you can't be too comfortable, like you're talking with friends, because you're wanting to get the position. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Smile. Be positive. I had someone, I think it was 2 weeks ago, we were interviewing a gentleman for our executive chef position. We asked about his previous experience. He said, well, I was at this place and my boss was not really helpful. And then I went to this place and my boss and I didn't communicate too well. And then my next stop, my boss was not timely with feedback. So what does that tell me? He hasn't really gotten along with the people that he's worked with and his bosses, right? So when you're in an interview, be positive, right? You have wonderful teachers. You always speak positive of some of the people you've worked with in the past, and don't be negative. Because really, the person interviewing you is just looking for a good fit for them, and they're not going to want someone that's not positive, right? Smile, I said, show enthusiasm, right? I learned this from Mrs. Hess. I learned that from Mrs. Peoples. You can say, I learned how to interact with customers from my teacher. Or I learned how to really clean really well the tables from my teacher. What does that show? To me, that shows that you as a student are open to learning and open to feedback from others. So if I were to hire you, you're going to listen to what our teammates say when they're trying to help, and then you're going to do that task. So let them know what you've learned here, and let them know that you've listened to your teachers. And then as a student, if you haven't missed a day, or if you've only missed a couple, let them know that too, right? So my role as a student was important to me, and I only missed 2 days of work. When I ask our managers to hire people, I ask them to hire good people, right? Some people are going to say experience is really important. I'm telling you guys, there are going to be a lot of people that you come across when you're trying to get that first job where just being dependable and a good person is going to outweigh that experience. What do I mean by that? Means, like, people on my team, I want to surround myself with a bunch of good people, and then I'll help them learn some other stuff. I'll help them learn the job. But I want to know, 1, they're going to come on time to work, and 2, that they're going to be good to our customers and good to other teammates. And then I'll show them how to, maybe wash the dishes, or I'll show them how to clean this area or that area. But during that interview process, you want to let them know that you're a positive person, that you're going to be coming to work on time, right? And that you're going to be learning from other people. So those are things you might want to do too. When you go for an interview, look that person straight in the eye. All of you are doing a very good job doing that today. But during the interview process, you always have to have that eye contact and look that person straight in the eye. When you first walk in for the interview, just like you saw earlier today, shake their hand and say, "Thanks for having me in today. I can't wait to talk about this job." Make sure you shake their hand and look them in the eye, and that's throughout the entire process. I'm just doing a quick time check. All right. One or two more things. During the interview process, show that it means something to you. What do I mean by that is you want this position, so let them know that it's important to you. Like, this position is important to me, and I saw that this restaurant has been open for 3 years. Or show that you did your homework. What do I mean by that? Just ask one question, maybe two, that says you looked at this position before and you selected it because of a specific reason. If it's close to home, that's awesome, but don't say, "Hey, I'm applying for this spot because it's close to home," right? Say, "I'm applying for this position because I think your food is really good," or "My family has always enjoyed eating here, and that's why it's important to me that I want to work here," right? So show a little bit of homework or research that you did about the place. Don't go in and just don't know anything about where you're going to work, right? Say things like, "The reason I'm excited about this position is because your nachos are awesome. The reason I'm excited about this position is because this restaurant is newer and I think I can learn a lot from it," right? It's just showing that research. The close of the interview, they're going to probably be asked, "Do you have any questions?" And that's when I'd like for you to come prepared with questions for them. The interview process is twofold. One, they're trying to find out about you to see if you're a good fit for the team, and you're trying to find out about them to see if they're a good fit for you. So have a set of questions. It could only be 2 or 3 questions. It doesn't have to be a lot. And I'm going to help you guys with those questions. But a question may be like, "Hey, who's your best food service worker?" And they might say, "Oh, that's Henry." Well, what does Henry do so well that he's one of your best workers? Right? It shows that you want to learn about Henry and learn what their best is doing so that you can try and contribute too. Those are some of the questions I'm going to give you guys so that at the end you can either put it in your pocket and then take it out and read, a question or two to them, but always have a question for them. And it's another chance for you to show your engagement. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, I crammed that into about 15 minutes. I think I covered almost all of it, but I do want to hear from you guys. Do you guys have questions for me? Can you think of anything?
Questions or comments, guys? Josh said a lot of stuff that we didn't necessarily say in class. So anything new that you have a comment about?
I'll tell one more story real quick.
Okay, awesome.
Last week we had a gentleman come in to interview for our executive chef position. And he was waiting in the lobby of the Red Tower. So Chef Corey, myself, and Wendy went to go meet the gentleman to take him to a conference room. And we're going to interview him in the conference room. I see the gentleman over in the corner of the room. The first thing I see is he's wearing an apron, and it's not tied up, it's loose, and he's wearing a chef jacket, and it has food on it. So do you remember what we talked about previously, looking the part?
Yeah.
Right? Dressing the right way? Here's the thing. None of us should judge any of our candidates based on how they look, right? But here's the truth or the reality behind it. All of us are going to form an opinion about someone just by that initial look at that person just by that initial interaction. So I saw this gentleman had his apron on, which we only wear in the kitchen when we're, making food or preparing food. Then we take the apron off. This gentleman, for some reason, still had his apron on and it wasn't tied up, so it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Guys, he didn't look the part. He didn't look like this was important to him. And I felt that way just based on he didn't have any clean clothes on. The apron was dirty and all over the place. So I sat down and we asked our questions. We got through it. Turns out he's a really nice person. He's a really nice dude. He's a good dude, but he's not a right fit for our team because that's how he presented in what should be something that's very important to him. So all these things that we kind of touched on, I think of it from the interview from your perspective, and I also think of stuff from my perspective, so hopefully that helps. Really, one of the biggest things I want to get across, now we've hired several students from this program, and those students did a lot of these things correct. They didn't do them all, right? Because not every person we interview is going to do all these things right. But what I'd like you to do is do 3 or 4 of them, and then that's going to separate you then maybe from some other candidates. If you think of a lot of the positions and jobs that you guys are applying for, they may get a lot of applications, and you just got to separate yourself from some of those other people that are interviewing. So a couple takeaways. One, I want you guys to have confidence in you. I want you guys to have confidence because you've already done some of this work that you're applying to do. You've already done it. That's what this program's for. It's really setting you up well. So have confidence. Try not to get nervous, right? Do some of those things that we did, because sometimes when you get nervous, you don't always act yourself. And I know every single one of you is a good person and is going to be able to contribute, is going to be able to help someone else out with, their jobs. And when we get nervous, sometimes we forget to do things and say stuff. So do some of the things that we've talked about, not to get nervous. Come look the part, answer the questions, look them straight in the eye like you guys are doing right now. You guys are really, really, really doing that well. And one, you should be proud of yourself for that, because there's some younger candidates that don't always look the person in the eye. So I give you guys a lot of credit for that. And be yourself, and then show that you know a little bit about, let's say you're going to Applebee's, right? Maybe you're applying at Applebee's. Show that you know a little bit about that Applebee's restaurant. I know this restaurant's been here for, a long time, and that's one reason I want to work. Or what's the reason you want to work? Let them know. Let them know you did your homework. I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of people that will walk in and we start to interview them and we ask, well, why do you want to work at a hospital? And they're like, oh, I never thought of that. How does that make me feel, right? Or I ask a candidate, why do you want to work at a hospital? And they say, well, a lot of times people come to the hospital because they need help, and I want to help that person. I want to help as many people as I can. And that's why you guys are here. You're helping a ton of people. Do you see the difference in those answers?
Yeah.
And that's just for one question. If you do a couple of these things, that's going to help you with all the questions. So know why you're applying. Show them and let them know that you're going to listen and be on time, and that you're going to have good attendance. And then that's going to separate you guys from a lot of other candidates. And I know every single one of you is going to do very well during the interview process. It's okay to practice with your teachers. It's okay to practice with your mom or dad or a family member or a friend. Sometimes when you practice these questions, it helps you the next day. So do that.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Do some of those things help?
Yes.
Do you guys think you'll be able to do some of those things?
Yes.
Do you think it'll help you get a job?
Yes.
I think so too. I do. You guys can always stop me at any time if you have questions or if you need help, or stop one of our managers or anyone on our team. Right? All right. I think very highly of you guys, and I appreciate you guys allowing me some time with you today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
So one thing we weren't quite sure of is, after the interview's done, we talked about reviewing, thinking about what they did well and what they can improve on. And then we also talked about reaching out if we hadn't heard from the business? Is there an appropriate amount of time to wait? A week, 2 weeks?
Yes, ma'am. So I went back and forth about bringing that up today. And I think here's ultimately what I landed on is I don't think you should wait a week. Here's I'm going to from our perspective. So when I interview someone for an entry level position,
Mhm.
usually my mind is made up after that interview is over. So I thought about saying, hey, it's a good thing to reach out, and I still think it's a good thing to reach out. What I would do is be selective about it. So if you interview and you think the interview went really well, and you really want that position, that day you should sit down with a friend or a family member and email the person that you interviewed with and say, thank you for the interview, right?
Mhm.
Thank you for your time today. I'm so excited about this opportunity. I hope to hear back from you. Just as a thank you. I would not encourage, I don't think you guys should email asking like, hey, have you filled the position yet? Or hey, if you email them thanking them, they know what that's all about. They know you're checking back. And it's also a way to show that show gratitude. Show that you appreciate their time. So I don't think for these positions it's necessary, but I do think if there's really one you want, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
And the email, it can be 2-3 sentences. It doesn't have to be anything longer than that. But that's a good question.
And
Very
we
good
did talk
question.
about sending that email or sending a thank you note, so that Josh answered our question.
That's
So
right.
that's perfect, thank you.
It's my pleasure. But yeah, usually we've decided once the interview's over, because there's probably 5 more people coming to interview either that day or the next day, right?
For that same position.
For that same position, right?
Mhm.
But if you guys do some of these things, you're going to separate yourself from others. What other questions do you guys have?
Anything else, guys?
I don't believe so.
Yes, sir.
How many people have applied for any kind of position?
Yeah, so the question is, how many people are applying for our positions? There are times there could be 50, 60 applicants for
Wow.
a position. Yeah. So that's why some of these things are important, because there's 50 or 60 applicants for a position, right? But
Only one can be
there's
hired.
some of those candidates, some of those people don't even get an interview. So they don't even make it to the interview. So that's one more thing that I forgot to touch on. What are things to gain confidence? If you are sitting down in front of someone for an interview,
Mhm.
that should give you confidence. Why? Because they're interested in you. They could have said no thanks already. Because we do that. We'll look at some resumes, right? And we'll say, no thanks. But if they're taking their time to sit down with you, that means they have an interest in you. So hopefully that'll build your confidence too. I just want you guys to be as confident as possible going into an interview. So if they're asking you questions, you got a real good shot at the position. Be yourself and be professional. What other questions? That was a good question. What other questions?
Anything else, guys? What should we tell Josh for his time?
Thank you for
And
your time.
knowledge.
Thank
And
you.
knowledge.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. It's my pleasure. All right.
Awesome, thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Well, thank you guys.
You're
Thank you
And
guys.
can we practice a handshake and a thank you on the way out like you would at an interview?
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. All right, guys, stand up. Everybody can.
Thank you for your time, Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Have a great day.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate it. All right.
Well done.